If you had to do it again, would you?
In a minute. Absolutely no hesitation there. In a minute. My life is so much better here.
I'm Dr. CHAMONIX, ex-corporate and academia turned CEO and board member of several companies and mother of 4 little extraordinary kids. But it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the know-how, and the time to focus on designing and really going after the life that I so wanted to live. A life of freedom, of fairness, and of being fair dinkum to who I really was and what I wanted to get out of this fleeting time that we have on Mother Earth. Fast forward to many lessons learned and moving halfway around the world to the most amazing country, you'll see the life that I now live. One that gives me more safety and freedom than I ever thought would be possible, and that really only existed as a daydream while I was living in South Africa. I created CHAMONIX TV to give you true spot advice on how you can also live a life in this amazing country, and so that you can see how another couple like us now live in Australia with 4 little kids here in Down Under. And I'll be providing you with step-by-step strategies so that you can make your Aussie dream a reality too. If you're a keen future Aussie who's looking to create a life that excites you and offers you safety, freedom, and opportunity, you have come to the right place, my friend. Welcome aboard.
The solo drive to migrating to Australia can be pretty lonely, especially when you hit a bumpy part in the road. Joining our one-of-its-kind course where migration specialists teach you all things needed to be able to get visa ready, get a job, and make your way to Australia as soon as possible, as well as having a supportive community, can be the make or break of reaching your destination here in Australia. Now, Migration Made Easy is opening its doors again very soon. If you're ready to find your dream life and land that first Aussie job sooner, Migration Made Easy is the place to be. Join the waitlist and you'll receive some juicy bonuses when the doors open. Secure your place at chamonixtv.com.au/waitlist. Hi, Elna. It's so lovely to see you. Welcome all the way from South Australia. How are you?
I'm perfect, thank you. Not a problem. Beautiful day here this morning.
And please tell us exactly where in South Australia do you find yourself?
We are currently living in Narracourt, which is about 4 hours drive away from Adelaide, about an hour's drive away from Mount Gambier or Robe, which is a very popular holiday.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful. So if you want to go for a Sunday drive, yes, you can just hop in your car and drive down to the beach and winelands, a little bit of wheat farming going around. But that's basically it.
Now tell me, how did you land in South Australia? Was that the first spot you came to when you came to Australia? And when did you come? How long have you guys been here?
We've been here, well, our Australian birthday is next month, the 18th of April. We came over in 2009, so we've been here almost 13 years. The first 9 years of it, we've been actually up in northeast Queensland in Mackay, which, if you look at the map, is about 1,000 kilometers up the coast from Brisbane. Subtropical, extremely hot, extremely humid. Not my place to live. That's why I rather moved to South Australia, which is more temperate climate, drier climate.
And where did you come from in South Africa?
Pretoria.
Okay, so South Australia is like Pretoria in weather, would you say?
No, not at all. South Australia is the climate here is more like the Cape Province, the Western Cape. Wine country, wheat country, very long, hot, cold winters, wet winters, short, very intense summer times, but beautiful country, absolutely beautiful country.
Mm. It is beautiful. I have had the privilege of driving through South Australia from the one end to the other end, as I told you a little bit earlier on, and it's beautiful. The one thing that South Australia has a lot of is wine.
Yeah, a lot of wine farms, a lot of vineyards. So it's beautiful. If you drive from Narracourt to Mount Gambier, for instance, 80% of the way is between the vineyards.
Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, Elna, why Australia, and how did your whole journey map out so that you got to Cairns in the first instance?
It started quite some time ago, in 2001, with my husband being retrenched from a 21-year job. I know it sounds political, but just because of the color of his skin. And from there, falling from one job to the other, because he couldn't find a proper job in South Africa, being a white male over 45. We initially started our journey to Australia through an agent. Cost us about 25,000 Rand that we had to pay in. And 2 days before he submitted our final application, he moonlighted with the whole amount. Gone. Left the country.
Oh, my goodness.
So we started.
Was he based in South Africa, the agent?
Was based in South Africa, in Sandton.
Oh, wow.
So we started from scratch. All our savings gone, everything gone. Started from scratch, and I did it myself.
That's incredible. I'm so glad that you actually still, after that drama, decided that's it. We're still going to like bugger that. We are going, even if we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah. My reasoning for that is I knew my kids didn't have a future in South Africa. They were going to battle to find jobs. My one daughter wanted to study medicine. She wanted to become a doctor. And when she went for her application interview, they told her straight up, sorry, no, not interested, you're white. If you want to study medicine, go and do it somewhere else.
Wow.
So it took us, from that stage, it took us 8 years to get everything ready, everything done. And then they told us, my husband and I are too old. We're not going to make it. We've got 2 kids that we added onto the application. They told us, you're not going to get your kids on and in, because the oldest one of the 2, that's our 2 youngest daughters. The oldest one of the 2 has got cerebral palsy, but she was 23 at that stage. The youngest was 21. And they told us, no way, no how, not on God's green earth are you going to get them through. And through blood and guts and gore and a lot of prayer, 6 months after I submitted the application, got our okay to come to Australia with both kids on the visa.
Incredible.
Months.
Wow. How on earth did you get that to, like, successfully? What's the category that you came in on?
Back then they called it a 457 temporary visa, which is a sponsorship. The whole thing everything just fell into place. Started with a phone call 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, if your phone rings at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's death in the family. You know it. Got up. No, it was a company in Brisbane offering my husband a job.
Wow.
Offered him for that time a fantastic salary. He's a tradesman. He's a fitter and turner. So they offered him a fantastic salary.
More than what he was earning in South Africa previously?
Yes, a lot more.
Oh, wow.
And made a lot of promises, as long as we paid for our own visa and our own plane tickets, which was actually illegal. They weren't allowed to do that. They were supposed to do that. But in any case, we did it, got on the plane, got here. And when he walked into the place of work, they told him, oops, sorry, made a mistake. They paid him less than legal minimum. They promised us initially that they would subsidize our housing. They never did. They promised us that they would help us find a place to stay and give us surety to buy a car. They never did, because we didn't have anything in writing. It was all word of mouth. So if you ever get a sponsorship to plan to come to Australia, get every single thing in writing.
Yeah.
Don't trust, don't come on somebody's word.
Very important, yes.
And then we landed here with literally $2,500 in our pockets. Our house in South Africa, still standing, still in our names. Our oldest daughter is living there with her family. We came over with our suitcases in our hand. So we had nothing, absolutely nothing. Stayed with a childhood friend of ours for the first 6 weeks, managed to find a house, managed to find a church, which was a blessing, because the Sunday after church at the normal tea and gossip,
Gossip, that's such a good explanation.
met some fellow ex-South Africans. And that afternoon, the gentleman stopped in front of our house with a trailer load full of furniture. Hubby and I were sleeping on a mattress on the floor.
Wow.
They brought us a bed. They brought us a lounge suite. They brought us beds. Well, the two girls had beds, but they brought us things like cupboards, tables, a dining room suite. They had upgraded, and they didn't know what to do with the old stuff, so they dropped it all off in our place.
Incredible, the Good Samaritans. Were they Australian, South African?
Ex-South Africans. One thing I have found here, look, in South Africa, if you know your neighbors, it's a rarity. If you see your neighbors more than twice a month, it's the end of the world. You don't know each other. You barely know their name or surname. The only thing you know about them is if they've got an irritating dog. Here, the South Africans stand together. They stand together, they work together, they help each other.
Because we've all been through it.
Because we've all been through it. We've all walked the same road. Different pathways to get there, but we all walk the same road.
Oh, very, very true. And what happened since? So you managed to get this Good Samaritan to help you out with some furniture. What happened with your husband's job?
It did improve a bit, but the moment we got permanent residence, they realized that they will have to pay him more. So they picked a fight over something absolutely ridiculous and let him go. And he was without work for a period of 6 months. Luckily, by that time, we had permanent residence, so they couldn't boot us back to South Africa. Then another company contacted him, offered him a fantastic job in the same town, but double the salary that he used to earn. And he was really very happy in that position. But Queensland, northeast Queensland, is hot, it's humid. It's Durban on steroids. It's hot. You don't breathe, you drink it. So when the offer came through to move down to South Australia, cooler weather, drier weather, we grabbed it and we moved.
So how did that offer come? Did you guys look for something, or did somebody just
No,
find out about your husband?
no, out of the blue, got a phone call, got a job offer.
Wow. See, another good Samaritan. Somebody is looking out for you guys, Elna.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we landed in this little rural town, 6,000 people in total, with a group of South Africans of about 50 people, all in all. We landed here the one weekend. Our furniture arrived on the Monday. We unpacked everything that we had to. By Tuesday afternoon, got a phone call. We're doing a scar braai on Friday to welcome you in the community. Come out to the farm. So,
how beautiful.
So we had a big get together and met the whole community, and
it felt like home.
Yes, almost.
Wow, how beautiful. So how long ago did you move to South Australia, did you say?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. So you have now gotten used to the temperature in South Australia, and you're happy to settle there?
Yeah, we're acclimated. Yeah. The final destination is closer to Adelaide. With being very rural, the hospital is very small. If you have an emergency, you go to the ER department. They have to call a doctor from Mount Gambier or wherever to come and see you.
Okay. So Mount Gambier is your nearest town. An hour's drive, did you say?
Hour's drive away, yeah.
Now I know Mount Gambier, as you know, I've said to you a little bit earlier, and it's a beautiful town as well. It's rather a large town. We call it a town. Don't they call it a city here? Like almost every place in Australia is called a city, and for me, a city needs to be this massive thing.
The numbers that they talk about is you have to be 65,000 people within the municipal borders to call it a city. Mount Gambier is not quite there yet.
Right.
So they're still a town.
Okay, but it's got all the amenities. It's got all the shops and
everything that you might need, you can get there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your husband now still is a fitter and turner, I assume. They're working for another company. Is he now happy? Is his work conditions acceptable to him?
No, that bottle also dropped. About 2 months after he started there, was injured on duty in such a way that it affected his whole career.
Oh.
And December, they, after a long this way and that way, they told him, sorry, we can't keep you on anymore. So they also let him go.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah. Injury on duty, their fault, their responsibility, and they just said, there's the door, bye-bye. So he managed to find another job in Adelaide within a couple of weeks. Now the big story is finding a house in Adelaide to move to, and we haven't been able to do that yet.
I know, because it's crazy, the rental market.
Yeah.
Everywhere in Australia, essentially, all the cities.
Yeah. The story is there are houses available. There's always been houses available, but the law states that you have to be there to do an inspection. We live 4 hours away. I can't drive 4 hours, do a 15-minute inspection, and turn around and drive 4 hours back every day of the week. You ask them, can we please schedule the inspection that I do 8 in one day? No, sorry, that's the time we have available, and that's it. So
your husband is working there now?
And no, he's still here. They in contact on the telephone every week. And the owner of that company keeps on telling him, don't worry about it, mate. Job's still yours. As soon as you get here, you can just walk in start working.
Oh.
So that is one good thing.
So how are you guys going to make this work? Are you going to get how about a motorhome? It's only the two of you, isn't it?
And a dog. That's looking more and more like a possibility. We have a few applications, few irons in the fire. There's a couple of possibilities that we are contemplating more and more now. But the big boss will show us the way.
Absolutely. Look at how far he has brought you. Sometimes things happen that's not pleasant. And I've, the things that you guys have been through with this whole journey. But do you think it's made you a stronger person now than what you were back then?
Absolutely. It's made me a stronger person. It's made our marriage stronger. It's made our faith stronger.
That's amazing. And how about your girls? When did they eventually come over and where are they now?
Okay, the two youngest ones came over with us. They're still up in Northeast Queensland. The second eldest one came about a year later. She's also up there. And as soon as we've managed this whole move to Adelaide and settled there and managed to buy our own property, we're really trying to move them down to, Adelaide vicinity, just to have them closer. And my eldest daughter is still in South Africa with her family.
So 4 daughters?
4 daughters.
Wow, what a blessed mama.
Yes. My husband says he's the blessed one. I don't have a son, so I've got nothing.
Well, you and I can talk because I've got 3 sons and 1 girl, so mine is just a bit young.
At least you've got the 1 girl. I always say I've got a fantastic son-in-law, so yeah, that balances it out.
Exactly. Oh, wow, that's an incredible story. So your oldest daughter with your son-in-law, who is still in South Africa, have they been here? Have they come to visit?
No, I haven't seen them in 14 years and it breaks my heart.
Wow.
I haven't seen my grandkids. When we left South Africa, my eldest granddaughter was in grade 1. She turns 21 this year.
Wow.
So the sooner.
So you haven't been back to South Africa at all?
Haven't been back. They haven't been here, so we haven't seen them at all for 14 years.
Wow.
Face calls, Skype calls, that thing, yeah, but in person, no.
Wow. I wanted to say, usually we blame it on COVID, but now this wasn't even COVID.
We were busy with a visa application to get them here 3 years ago, and COVID happened and everything stopped dead. No movement forward. We can now start looking at it again.
Wow. That's, COVID has changed so many things. But aren't you glad that you guys were, that most of you guys were here in Australia when COVID happened?
Yeah. At least, finding a few loopholes in the closed borders and restrictions and everything, we've managed to see the girls up in Northeast Queensland a time or 2. But at least they're here. I know they're safe and they managing, they're carrying on.
Yes, there, you don't have to worry about them. They should be fine.
Yep.
Now tell me, Elna, you've gone through a lot of heartache with this whole process over the last, what did you say, 13 years, I think?
13 years, yeah.
If you had to do it again, would you?
In a minute. Absolutely no hesitation there. In a minute. My life is so much better here. Plainly for the fact I don't live in a jail.
Yeah.
I can sleep with my doors open. My Windows don't have burglar bars on them. I can drive as a 61-year-old woman. I can drive around 11 o'clock at night and I don't have to lock my car doors.
Incredible, isn't it? Well, it's how it should be.
Yeah.
we say it's incredible because like, but
Yeah.
that's actually how life should be.
How life should be. I don't think the people in South Africa realize how bad it actually is because they're so used to it.
Mm.
You know, when we lived there, I used to drive around with a firearm in my purse 24/7. 5 o'clock in the afternoons, you're in your yard, gates locked, house locked, and you don't go outside. And now it's even worse. As I say, we often sleep with the doors open, just forget to close them. Friends of ours went on holiday for 6 weeks. They were gone about 3 or 4 weeks, and their next door neighbors phoned them and told them, listen, we had a bit of a windstorm here, so we closed your kitchen, your back door, just to keep the leaves out of your house. The door was standing open. Nothing happened.
Wow. And if you have advice, apart from the fact that you gave a really good tip, and that is get everything in writing, of course.
Yeah.
But if you had some advice for anybody else who's watching this, considering coming to Australia, and given that you did the visa process yourself, what would you say? Like, was there any other kind of learnings that you took from doing the process yourself?
Learning from doing the process myself, yes. There's a lot of things that other people tell you. Do this, do that, do this, do that. That's unnecessary. On the immigration website, there's actually a tick list that you can go through go for these documents, follow these steps one by one by one. Don't go for this one until the 10 before that has been completed because you're wasting time and money. Mm. But just step by step. Don't get impatient because it's a slow process. It takes a lot of time. Mm. And something that we learned the hard way when we got here, if you're over 30 and you don't have private medical, get it, and you're on permanent residence, get private medical as soon as you can, within the first 6 months. Because if you do it after that 6 months, you pay what they call a health cover loading for a period of 10 years. And for every year that you get older, it gets higher. Mm. We ended up paying 40% health cover loading on our private medical, which makes a big difference. A big difference.
Wow.
So if you've got private medical within that first 6 months of getting your permanent residence, you don't have the health cover loading. Mm-hmm. And then private medical is cheaper.
Thank you so much. You've given such great points of advice there to our viewers. Would you suggest that they, even though it might be difficult, that they still try and come to Australia, because it wasn't easy for you guys, and you came over the age of 45. How did you manage to get in after 45 then?
Because we had a sponsorship, a definite job that my husband could walk into. He was on the critical shortage list because he's a tradesman, he's a fitter and turner. And at that stage, the cutoff point was 50. We were 48.
Okay.
So the cutoff point was 50. We just made it under the wire. So, but
amazing.
Yeah, if you can do it any way, shape, or form, don't hesitate. Don't even think about it twice. Pack your suitcases and come.
Do you feel like an Australian or a South African, Elna?
I'm a South African-born Australian. I think if you cut me, my blood's still green and gold.
Luckily, the Australian team colours are also green and gold, or gold and green, whichever way you want to look at it.
Like gold and green.
Oh, Elna, it's been fabulous talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's such a heartwarming story, even though you've gone through so much drama and heartache and just falling. But you know what? You got up again every time after that.
You have to. Immigrating is not easy. Living as a foreigner in another country, it's not easy. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy, because you miss your own people, you miss your blood, you miss what you used to know.
Yeah.
But the life here, the whole background here is so much better.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your story, Elna. And best of luck with finding a house in Adelaide. I think you should get that mobile house, because then you can go anywhere.
I want a mobile home and hubby wants a caravan, and we're still fighting about that one.
Oh, well, at least you know it's going to be on wheels.
Yeah.
Take care, Elna. Have a lovely afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you had fun, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and then it'll make sure that you never miss a thing. I'll see you same time and same place next week. Bye for now.